So right now it's a little dark in my garage as per usual. I have the garage door closed because we're about to paint. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening everyone. So like I just said, we are starting the prep work for the paint. I have my makeshift, or actually it's not makeshift, it's a professional paint booth inside my garage here. It's not the cleanest. I'm probably gonna get overspray anymore, so all over the place, so hopefully my landlord doesn't care too much. I started using this little etching primer shit. I don't like the way it lays down. It kind of lays down blotchy, or that's probably just me because I'm laying it on too heavy. Nonetheless, I've already started prepping everything. I'm gonna open up the garage door here in a second. It is getting kind of breezy out. I want to get the etching primer shit laid down on all the bare rust spots, not rust spots, but the bare clear spots that I sanded down. I want to get that stuff down so the paint has a spot to lay down on, because I am not primering this bay. Most people would have epoxy primered it. I'll be honest with you, I'm just gonna start laying paint down, and whatever I don't like, well, we're just gonna lay down more paint. Don't expect a professional paint job. Again, this is Harbor Freight gun, single stage paint. I'm just trying to get this done. Worst comes to worst, what I may do down the line, have this stuff painted again. It's not that hard to, I could just take the whole motor transmission out, unbolt it from the subframe, put the subframe back in so I can get the car rolling around again. It probably take a couple hours to do all that, so it's not that bad, but you know what, we're gonna run with it. I was going to rattle can it and I decided not to, but we are gonna lay this single stage down. It's a 6:1:1, which I'll go over all the measuring here in a second. I didn't get that much. I only got like a pint or a quart, whatever it is. I think it's a quart. The reason why I only got a quart is because I told the guy I'm only gonna lay down like 2 or 3 coats. My main spots I want to hit isn't even really the fender well. I'll probably lay the paint down there last. I want to get the frame rails underneath the cowl area, whole engine bay. Let's keep on rolling. Let me show you guys my professional paint booth with my little exhaust fan and whatnot, and I'll show you my mask that I'm using. So again, sorry about the dark. I have the garage door closed because this thing was blowing everywhere. The breeze was coming in, so I got everything kind of taped off where I want it. Again, you're not really gonna see inside here. As you can see, I started laying down the etching primer. Battery cut off on me. So I started laying down the etching primer. I'll show you guys here in a second. It is, again, apologize about the dark. But this is my professional paint booth. I have most of the Evo covered. I mean, really, I just need the front. Damn this fucking bike. I gotta move this bike out because I keep running into this goddamn titanium. Anyway, have some of the etching primer. You don't really need to primer the whole thing. It would have been better if I did an epoxy primer, but you know what? I need to get, at this point, I need to get this thing going. The motor and transmission should have already been in here. You know what? Let's open up the garage door and then we'll go over this because you can't see shit right now. Oh, much better. Okay, so as you can see, I started laying down the etching primer. Got a little runny over there. I don't really care. I can sand that down. You just want the bare spots, the bare metal spots, so I'll probably lay more down over here. I also do have to clean everything. I am in the process of, as you can see, I'm taping everything off right now. I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning off the engine bay, dusting it off, cleaning it off, then hitting it with some wax and grease remover, tape off everything that I need to tape off. I'm really not gonna plug holes for like to screw stuff in because the screw itself will peel that paint off. Yeah, and then we'll go from there and start mixing the paint and hopefully figure out what I'm actually doing.
Day 2.
All right, so it is actually day 2 of painting this. At the time, let me turn my heat off. All right, that would have been very loud. So at the time I did not have any primer, and I didn't feel like going to get primer. It was a long day for me yesterday. So I do have primer. It is just rattle can primer. I did get some sandpaper to kind of sand down everything. The etching primer, I'm just gonna lightly sand. I'm not really gonna sand it too heavily. So it did rain last night. It is sunny today. It's gonna be sunny for like the next week. So I wanna try to get this done as quickly as possible. But the problem is in California, whenever it rains and then it becomes sunny, it becomes windy. So this is going to be a challenge. Probably going to be windy the next week because it is going to be sunny out. This is California's weather. It's either raining, extremely hot and on fire, or extremely windy. There's just the only 3 seasons that we have. Not the most ideal conditions. Again, I don't foresee this going very well. Whatever, at this point, I don't fucking care. I just want to get this car back up and running, and I will deal with everything else later. Without further ado, let's go ahead and start laying down some primer. Primer, I'm gonna have the garage door open. I really don't care if it sprays everywhere. My landlord's probably gonna hate me, but let's lay down some primer, and we'll go from there. Alright, so whatever. I sanded some of the primer down just to smooth out certain spots where I laid a lot of primer down, mostly in the bare spots that were bare metal before. I laid heavier primer down on that, so I just sanded it down with some 300 grit, 320 grit, and you didn't see it, but I also sanded it down with some 600 grit as well, just to get it fully smooth. It's as good as it's gonna get, to be honest with you, with what I'm working with. At this point, I don't really care. We're gonna go ahead. I did the wax and grease remover again as best as I could. Kind of just wiped everything down. I'm gonna go ahead and blow it off with compressed air. This paint has to sit, I think, for 15 minutes once it's mixed like that. I don't know. I'll read over the directions and whatnot. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blow everything off with compressed air again, one last time. And then after that, I'm going to tack cloth it. So I have these tack cloths, about 3 or 4 of them. I'll probably need to use 2 of them. Again, the fender wells I'm not really concerned with. They're going to be my test mule. So I'm going to spray the paint in the fender wells first. And then after that, well, the one fender well I can get to, I want to put down 2 coats at least. So I'm going to mix this up 6 to 1 to 1. This should give me the full amount that I need. Once I mix that up, pour it into the hopper. I already have my gun set, so I backed the air and the pressure all the way out. And then basically you squeeze the trigger and then you slowly turn it in until you feel pressure. And I just did it so it's a little bit sucks. It's still kind of windy out. We're gonna have to make do with it. So I want to spray this car as quickly as possible. Dog hair everywhere. That's gonna be a big problem. There's going to be dog hair all over this engine bay. No matter what I do, I cannot stop the dog hair. Doesn't matter if I shave my dog bald, it's gonna be in here. So unfortunately, that's something I got to battle with as well. Again, not looking for perfection, but enough talk. Let me go ahead and blow off the engine bay, tack cloth it. Well, get this mixed up, then blow off the engine bay, tack cloth it, and then we should be able to lay some paint down. that didn't go as planned. I don't know what the hell I'm doing wrong, but this just looks like absolute dog shit. Absolute dog shit. So what we are going to do is we are going to wait until this clears out, dries up, sort of dries up, and then we are going to rattle can it. I am not going to sit here and try to figure out paint guns and paint all this other shit. All that shit's going in the garbage, paint's going in the garbage. I'm going to drop it off at the recycle yard, get rid of it all, and we're just going to rattle can this, paint engine bay, call it a day, good to go. This is just too hard to do in the garage. I mean, it is really, really glossy. The paint itself is really glossy for a single stage. I just don't think, one, I don't have the space. Two, very windy, so the paint was going everywhere. Three, I didn't know how to set the gun up properly. And I watch videos and everything, but I don't know what I'm looking at when I spray. I was doing test sprays, and this is where I ended up right here, and it came out fine, but when I was too close, the paint was just like very thick, and it was like thick runny, if that makes sense. Like it was spraying down really, really heavy, but it was very runny, like watery. So I don't know why I was doing that, but it was. But I ended up going through 2.5 bottles of rattle can. Oh man, did not go as planned, but it's painted for now. You can see how glossy that is. You can see that that's not as glossy as I haven't sprayed any clear coat down. I am going to spray clear coat down tomorrow. I'm going to let this dry overnight, but as you can see, this was what I'm talking about. Look how much runs the gun was shooting. Again, I didn't properly know how to set the gun up, so you know, such is life, learning experience. You can see very, very orangey peely, very orangey peely up here. I'm not going to sand it down. I'm going to leave it. All that shit's going to be covered. Couldn't really get up there either. So you know, it's one of those things. Unfortunately, it's not a Civic, and this would work for a Civic. This is an Evo. I'd want something a little bit better, but I feel bad for the poor schmuck that has to repaint this engine bay down the road. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry overnight. Probably gonna hit it with, in a few spots, a light dusting over it, just to fill some some like little pinholes and imperfections and everything. Do a couple little light dustings, and then we'll pick this video back up tomorrow when I start laying the clear coat down. I'll probably do coat of clear coat, I mean 2 coats of clear coat. I'm going to start on the other side, the driver's side first, because that doesn't have any clear coat. The spot that I sprayed the fender well initially with the paint, it does have the clear coat on it with the single stage paint, so it's a little bit shinier. Sticking to my garage floor. We'll get it down. I want to learn how to paint. I think I need to practice how to set up the gun first, and then practice on a panel, which I may use my old Evo panel as a tester, or just go to a junkyard and pick up a couple panels. Yeah, like I said, I'll pick this back up tomorrow when I can actually start laying down a clear coat. I want to let this dry a little bit. All right, so it is actually the next day as I go into the dark abyss. Everything's dry, everything looks pretty good. I won't know until I actually open up what's that thing called, the garage door. Problem is, we're having like 30-mile-an-hour winds. I gotta fight the wind. It's either fight the wind or wait another 2 weeks to finish this up. But I have everything for the motor, I have everything for the subframe and whatnot, so I can start actually getting all this stuff back together. I'm waiting on a clutch. I did buy a clutch. So you know, it's just one of those things where I can start piecing everything together, or I can sit here and wait until springtime to finish this car, because that's probably the most ideal conditions. So we're just gonna run it, fuck it, full send. Let's get this going. I need to get this car buttoned up because I gave myself 2 months. I'm probably gonna be past that in a couple weeks. And I'm nowhere even near close to finishing. So I have a shit ton of stuff to do. So let me start laying down this clear coat, and I really don't care how it comes out.
2,000 years later.
All right, so are you guys ready? It's been about an hour or so. I've just been tinkering with the motor, putting like pulleys back on. Nothing really crazy that I'm going to film. Let's open up the garage door and yeah, let's just rip the Band-Aid off at this point. Wow, some things in life you shouldn't do. Painting is definitely one of those things. I don't even know if I want to show you guys up close. Maybe I'll just give you like a far away shot so it looks better. Absolutely terrible. It's all like runny and overall not that great. Thankfully there's gonna be a lot of stuff covering, but there is a valuable lesson to be learned here. You either learn how to do it or pay someone else and never learn. This won't be the end of my painting shenanigans. I do plan on practicing a little bit better, obviously with less wind, but for now I think I'm going to call it a wrap on this. Hope you guys learned what not to do when you paint. Again, go ahead and critique me in the comments. Tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what I should be doing better. You know, I'm all about learning. I'm all about critiquing. You're not gonna hurt my feelings if you say I suck at painting, because I know I suck at painting. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Stay hungry, stay humble, and before my heater starts, catch you guys on the next one. Later.
I swear to God, man, I'ma make it soon. Silence all the haters as they see us making moves. I do what I want, so I got nothing to prove. Staying motivated, teaching